Earlier this year, we tried out the new Mini Countryman and came away impressed. The little crossover combined the driving feel of its smaller siblings with practicality like usable backseats and better cargo capacity. The one we really wanted to try, the Cooper SE Countryman ALL4 plug-in hybrid EV version, WASNT, available back in March, but it is now. It remains a quirky and engaging drive when internal combustion and electromechanical systems are working in harmony, but the small battery means you'd have to plug it in at every opportunity for that to happen. The bits that make it go under the hood, the Cooper SE Countryman ALL4, henceforth known as the Hybrid Mini, uses the same engine as the standard Countryman Cooper. The 1.5L 134 horsepower 100 kilowatts 162 lb-ft 220 Nm 3-cylinder turbocharged engine now just drives the front wheels via a 6-speed Steptronic automatic transmission. The rear axle is now driven by an 89 horsepower 65 kilowatts 122 lb-ft 165 Nm electric motor, instead of the mechanical Haldex-style system you would find in a conventionally powered all-wheel drive Mini. The setup is closely related to the one we liked so much in the BMW i8, although a more accurate comparison would be with the Europeanly BMW 2 Series Active Tourer. That's all but identical. Together with a 7.6 kWh lithium-ion battery, the Hybrid Mini is about 200 pounds heavier than a Cooper S Countryman ALL4. Curb weight is 3,825 pounds, 1,735 kilograms. But with a combined output of 221 horsepower, 165 horsepower, and more importantly a combined torque figure of 283 lb-ft 385 Nm, it's quite a bit more potent. 0 to 62 miles per hour 100 kilometers per hour takes 6.8 seconds compared to 7.4 seconds for the 4-cylinder gasoline-powered car. On city streets it's a highly effective powertrain, but it rarely gives you full power or torque from both sources of propulsion at once. That depends on the precise combination of drive modes. Like other Minis, you can choose between a sport and green setting at the base of the gear lever, remapping the accelerator and gearbox. In sport it's more precise and holds on to gears longer. In green the response is much more relaxed, and it will coast more readily. But a toggle switch on the center stack controls other functions. Auto drive relies on electricity alone below 49 miles per hour 80 kilometers per hour, with the internal combustion engine joining in at higher speeds or in response to a floored throttle. Max drive will rely on battery power up to 77 miles per hour 125 kilometers per hour, and there's a save function that keeps the engine running all the time, using spare power to charge the battery to 90% and keeping it there. The ICE will also run constantly if the lithium-ion cells get below 7%, at which point max drive is no longer available. It might be called a Countryman, but the city is this car's natural home. Don't buy a Mini if you don't like quirky cabin design. When I drove the conventional Countryman in March, I wondered how it'd feel about the interior mood lighting after more than a day. Turns out I really liked it. Mini purists don't like it, but it's a pretty handsome vehicle. I love the cartoon-like UI for the infotainment. It can be confusing to work out how much battery is left. The charging port lives behind this cover. You'll be opening it a lot. The more you go off-road, the more points your infotainment system awards you. Needs more battery, as I mentioned in the intro. When everything is working together, it's a very effective system. The EPA gives it a combined 65 mpg, which is a lot better than the 24 mpg combined for the 4-cylinder Countryman. But the small battery capacity is problematic unless you plug it in at every possible opportunity. Empty to full will take a little over 3 hours with a 240V supply. With just 7.6 kWh, the Hybrid Mini has just 12 miles 19.3 kilometers of EV range, so even if you start every day with a fresh charge, the battery will probably be drained come evening. You really notice when it's empty and relying on conventional power. Gone is the silence and effortless wave of torque that makes electric power such a great way to drive around our city. Instead, there's steady background noise and vibration as the engine does its thing. It's not that it's particularly bad at NVH, and you probably wouldn't complain about it if you were driving the $26,100 front-wheel drive Cooper Countryman. But a hybrid Mini with an empty battery is both a lot more expensive. It starts at $36,800 and a good £800, 360 kilograms heavier. However, as it's a Coupe S, the hybrid Mini is better equipped than the cheapest Countryman, and on gasoline alone we actually managed about 2.9 mpg, 2 miles per gallon better than the EPA predicted we'd get. For a description of the Countryman's other features, we refer you to our March write-up. A battery EV Mini is now in the works, but it won't arrive in showrooms for another 2 years and will be based on the 3-door regular Mini body style rather than the titchy SUV. So in the meantime, the PHEV Coupe SE Countryman ALL4 is the only game in town if you need an eco-friendly Mini or a small PHEV crossover. Of course, options like the current Chevrolet Volt are at a similar price with more than double the kWh, which also means a much bigger IRS tax credit.